In the Saint Seiya movies, we are introduced to several memorable enemies. Many of them are knights who represent constellations and are part of Athena's army. Others are Nordic warriors who represent beings from Norse mythology. And today, let's remember who all these memorable enemies of Seiya and his friends are. Hello, Knights of Amazon. I'm Wes. And today we're going to remember some of the most fascinating and sometimes forgotten characters of the franchise. I'm talking about the warriors that the knights faced in the classic Saint Seiya movies. Let's explore the Ghost Knights, Durval's God Warriors, the Sun Crown Knights, the Angels of Death, and the Celestial Angels. They use forbidden armors, powers that rival the Gold Saints, and expand the universe of Masami Kurumada in brutal ways. So if you like the topic, go ahead and comment which is your favorite character from these classic Saint Seiya movies. And of course, don't forget to hit like. Subscribe to the channel, turn on the notification bell, and let's get into this awesome video.
Sempre quis saber.
Nope. Night number 1, Maya of Sagitta. To begin our journey, we need to go back to the first feature film, where the goddess of discord, Eris, returns to Earth. Possessing the body of the young Eris, she brings with her the Ghost Knights, warriors from the past who were famous in their times, but who died and were resurrected by the power of the Fruit of Conflict. Maya of Sagitta is the first one we encounter. Unlike Tremi of Sagitta, whom we know from the classic series, Maya is described as a death warrior.
Sua técnica, as flechas envenenadas.
It's a much more lethal and illusory version. In the mythology behind the character, he is a master of concealment, capable of mixing real arrows among thousands of light beam illusions. What's interesting here is that his armor, although it resembles the silver one, has a dark shine, reflecting his status as someone who has been resurrected. Knight number 2, Yan of the Shield. If you thought Shiryu's shield was the most powerful, Yan came to prove otherwise. He has an upgraded silver shield, and his technique, the Deadly Shield, is powerful enough to shatter the Dragon Shield. Yan is the personification of absolute defense, which becomes a devastating attack, representing the shield constellation with a level of aggressiveness rarely seen. Knight number 3, Christo of the Southern Cross. This knight brings one of the most famous constellations of the Southern Hemisphere into battle. He faces Hyoga of Cygnus in a duel of ice and physical techniques. The Southern Cross punch is a blow that targets the opponent's heart. Interestingly, Christo is portrayed as someone ruthless, but ends up becoming a victim of the very goddess who resurrected him, showing that for Eris, his warriors are nothing more than disposable tools. Knight number 4, Orpheus of Harp. One of the most controversial is Orpheus of Harp. Don't confuse him with Orpheus of Lyra from the Hades saga. This Orpheus is a ghost knight who uses melody to paralyze and destroy his enemies. His string requiem is a technique that squeezes the opponent's body to death. He represents the tragic mythological figure of Orpheus, but with a touch of wickedness and melancholy that only the warriors of Ares possess. Knight number 5, Jaga of Orion. Rounding out Ares' group, we have the legendary Jaga of Orion. This guy is, without a doubt, one of the most powerful characters in the movies. In the past, he was considered the strongest silver knight of all, a true hero. Jaga accepted Ares' invitation because he couldn't stand being forgotten after his death. His technique is the Mega Atomic Shock. He's a force of nature. Jaga fights with a twisted sense of honor, but his presence on the battlefield is so imposing that he almost defeats Seiya and the others by himself, and it takes the use of the Sagittarius gold armor to defeat him. Knight number 6, Durval. In the second movie, The Great Battle of the Gods, we are taken to the frozen lands of the north even before the Asgard saga existed on TV. Here the antagonist is Durval, Odin's representative on Earth who was corrupted by a desire for absolute power. Durval is not just a political leader. He is a formidable warrior, capable of attacking gods with his Odin shield. Knight number 7, Loki. Alongside Durval, we have figures like Loki. Unlike the god of mischief we know from Soul of Gold, this Loki is a brutal and arrogant warrior. His green emerald armor and his Odin storm attack show that he is Durval's right-hand man. He battles Seiya, showcasing the northern warrior's remarkable endurance. Knight number 8, Ron. He is the giant of Durval's group, using 2 giant boomerangs called Mjolnir, a clear reference to Thor's hammer. He is capable of destroying mountains. His fight against Ik of Phoenix is iconic, showing that not even the Phoenix's fire is able to easily melt Asgard's ice when it is imbued with evil Cosmo. Knight number 9, Ur. Ur is a master of the sword. His flaming sword is one of the most dangerous weapons in the movie. capable of cutting Shun's chains as if they were paper. Represents technical aggressiveness, a warrior who doesn't waste movements and focuses entirely on annihilating his opponent through energy blades. Knight number 10, Midgar. Midgar is a turning point in the Durval film. For much of the story, he is a mysterious, masked warrior who, when revealed, turns out to be none other than Cygnus Hyoga. Under Durval's brainwashing spell, Hyoga, as Midgar, uses a dark variant of his ice techniques, proving that the Cygnus Knight has immense destructive potential when his morality is removed. Knight number 11, Atlas of Carina. We now arrive at what many consider to be the best movie in the franchise, The Legend of the Defenders of Athena. Here, the god Abel, Athena's brother, awakens to destroy humanity and rebuild the world. He brings with him the 3 Knights of the Crown of the Sun, whose armors are not gold, silver, or bronze, but rather outfits given by the sun itself, which makes them superior to almost any sacred armor. Their leader is Atlas of Carina. Guys, Atlas is a beast. His armor represents the constellation of Carina, and he possesses the sun-crowned fire technique. Atlas humiliated the 5 protagonists and the resurrected Gold Saints, like Shura and Camus, with frightening ease. His Cosmo is so powerful that he can repel attacks with an impenetrable solar energy barrier, which seems impossible to defeat. Knight number 12, Berengue of Coma Berenices. Next up is Berengue of Coma Berenices. His specialty is the use of sharp golden hair strands, the golden hair of death. He was responsible for defeating Camus, Jaquario, and Shura of Capricorn simultaneously, which gives a real sense of his level of power. Berengue is cold, calculating, and uses the constellation of Coma Berenices to immobilize and cruelly shred his enemies. Knight number 13, Zhao of Lynx. The third member is Zhao of Lynx. With agility that lives up to his name, Zhao uses Lynx Flash to attack at speeds that surpass light. His fight against Saga of Gemini is one of the most memorable in the movie, ending in a mutual sacrifice where Saga has to use all his power to take Zhao with him to the stars. These 3 warriors show that when the sun is on a fighter's side, even the Gold Saints seem like mere apprentices. Knight number 14, Lucifer. In the movie The Warriors of Armageddon, Saint Seiya flirts with Christian mythology and occultism. Lucifer awakens after the defeat of Hera, Isabel, and Poseidon, absorbing the power of these gods to overthrow the sanctuary. For this, he relies on the 4 fallen angels, beings who were elite angels but followed Lucifer in his rebellion. Knight number 15, Beelzebub of Seraphim. Among the angels of death, under Lucifer, Beelzebub is the strongest among them. His seraphim armor is magnificent, and he rides a horse of fire in the skies. He is responsible for inflicting severe damage on Shiryu and Seiya. Knight number 16, Ashtaroth of Cherubim. Ashtaroth has a dual and sinister nature. His technique is the Snake King bite. He is a warrior who prefers the slow suffering of his victims, representing the perversion of a cherubim into a being of pure malice. Knight number 17, Eligor of Virtue. Eligor is the master of physical combat. His armor resembles a praying mantis. He uses the mantis fist to deliver slashing blows that ignore the resistance of bronze, silver, or gold armor. He is a warrior with hand-to-hand combat skills that challenge the perception of the brothers. Knight number 18, Moa of the Throne. He is the master of illusions and the psychological aspect of battle. Moa uses the Spirit Hunter, a technique that projects the image of the opponent's dearest person to prevent them from attacking. In Yoga's case, he used the image of his mother, Natasha. Moa is proof that for Lucifer's warriors, war is not just physical, but a total destruction of the enemy's soul. Knight number 19, Theseus. To conclude our analysis, we come to the film Heaven's Prologue, a movie that tried to continue the Hades saga, in which Artemis took control of Earth and sends her celestial warriors or angels to eliminate the humans who dared to challenge the gods. Theseus is the first angel we see in action. He possesses a divine power that puts him far above an ordinary gold knight. Theseus is able to fight Shun and Ikki at the same time with a frightening serenity. His attacks are based on pure cosmic energy, and he doesn't use a conventional armor, but rather a glory, a divine garment that is almost indestructible. Knight number 20, Odysseus. This is another elite warrior of Artemis. His main ability is the capacity to absorb and reflect any attack that is launched against him. Shiryu and Hyoga suffer at the hands of this angel because their strongest attacks, like the Dragon's Fury and Aurora Thunder, are returned with double the power. Odysseus represents the insurmountable barrier between mortals and gods. Knight number 21, Toma of Icarus. He is the only human among Artemis's angels and has a deep connection with the past. As the missing brother of Eagle Marin, Toma seeks to become a god through power and the absence of feelings. His fight against Seiya is the emotional core of this movie. Toma uses his Cosmo to generate electric discharges and impact attacks that test the limits of Seiya's determination. His journey is one of redemption and pain, showing that even among celestial beings, human bonds can still shine. These warriors and their forbidden armors represent a visual aspect of the creativity surrounding Saint Seiya. Although many of these movies are considered alternate stories, the armor designs, the mythology involved, and the scale of power influenced everything that came after in the franchise. From Jaga of Orion to Toma of Icarus, these characters challenged the protagonist to reach levels of Cosmo they didn't even know they possessed. They explored the universe of Saint Seiya to understand that Athena's army is just a small part of a much larger cosmic board, where gods and their champions have been fighting for supremacy for millennia. Each of these warriors we mentioned today brought something unique to the story, whether it was the brutality of Atlas or the melancholy of Toma. So, which of these movie warriors is your favorite? Do you think any of them could defeat the Gold Saints from the classic series? Share your thoughts in the comments. I want to hear your opinion. Thanks for watching until the end and see you next time. Burn your Cosmo to infinity.